Hi, and welcome to this episode of Rare Book Chat. I'm Jeremy O'Connor, and I'm here with my co-host,
Michael DiRuggiero. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Michael. Been a while.
It has been a while.
Where have we been?
It's somewhere.
Yeah.
I think.
You seen anything good?
Well, there's something I always say.
Oh, you're quoting yourself. I like that.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't always. I always say it in my head.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know if that counts.
It counts.
I say a lot of things in my head.
Yeah.
Some of them good. Some of them really dull. Really dull.
Keep going. Yeah,
all right. Not the point. But something in the book world. I'm just going to jump right in. I'm going to tell you what's on my mind.
Tell me.
Okay. Something in the book world that's always perplexed me.
Okay.
Is the fact that when you have somebody's own copy of something,
Mm-hmm.
people don't seem to make a big deal about it. Like it's not annotated. Like here, something inscribed to a person.
Yeah.
And you imagine it being in that famous person's library and that author, writer, artist consulting their own copy of the book. And to me, I find that really exciting.
Yeah.
And I find at auction, those books are so much cheaper
Yeah.
than when that same person inscribes a book to some unknown person. No offense to that unknown person, or just signs it.
Mm-hmm.
So in one case, they sign it. They're holding the book for mere seconds.
Yeah.
In the other case, it's part of their library. So I would rather have the book in the loving library than I'm holding it for 5 seconds and never think about it again. But no one seems to agree with me on this.
How many people you talk to?
Well, I tell you, these conversations go on in my head. I once sold a book, though, that Hemingway had that he had marked up like every couple pages, and you could tell that it was he was influenced by it.
Right.
That I was able to promote, but I thought still was undervalued by me.
Mm.
So this doesn't move you?
I don't know. I think not really. I'll tell you why.
Yeah, tell me.
I think you have to take the book market kind of as you find it, because there's so many quirks and so many weird
I
things.
don't know what that means.
Well, it means that if people don't value that, if collectors don't value it, then it's just a kind of a brute fact of the book market, right? And there are a lot of other brute facts of the book market, which we've discussed.
It sounds violent.
Well, brute fact is just, it's not meant to be violent. It's just it's suggesting that it's something that is just way beyond our control. We can't do anything about.
Well, when I see something like that, I see if I like it and the market doesn't, that's an opportunity for me, right?
Yeah. So then you start selling books to yourself, which happens. That is something that we need to talk about.
No.
People do kind of sell books to themselves. You buy something and you're like, oh my God, that's so wonderful. And then now you're like, oh, it's worth so much more than I ever paid. Now you bought it again.
You did buy it again.
You have this conversation with yourself.
A lot that's coming up at Heritage Auctions.
Yeah.
Soon.
Mm-hmm.
May 8th.
Wow.
It's coming up soon. Okay. So it's the autobiography of Calvin Coolidge, written by
Calvin
Coolidge.
Yeah, good stuff. This is on everybody's want list.
Oh, yeah. It came out in 1929. Just a brief aside, this was actually a big-time important book. And it's inscribed. I'll go more. I did a little deep dive into this book because Calvin Coolidge is not somebody I think about very often. I don't know where anybody thinks about very often. Anyway, it's first trade edition, inscribed by the author, and further inscribed by Ernest Hemingway. So here's the first inscription by Calvin Coolidge. To Ernest Hemingway, warm regards, Calvin Coolidge. That's cool.
Yeah.
Hemingway's copy.
Yeah.
Really cool, right?
Oh, especially the warm regards.
Yeah, warm regards. I mean,
Well,
doesn't get more warm than that.
Well, but Coolidge was famous for having a kind of a terse, not very warm personal style.
Yes, which makes you think Hemingway would like him because the terse style. In fact, the autobiography of Calvin Coolidge is one of the shortest presidential memoirs.
Yeah.
He's a man of few words.
A man of few words. And there's a famous anecdote about Coolidge.
What's that?
He's at a dinner party, and there's a woman sitting next to him, and she says, "Mr. President, I made a bet that I could get you to say more than 2 words." And you know what he said in reply?
No.
He said, "You lose."
You made that up.
No, it's true. I mean, I didn't make it up. Apparently,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, right. Apparently, Coolidge denied that ever happened, but it is out there. Like if you look up Coolidge, if you're looking for something juicy, that's about all you're going to find.
He may have said more words after that. She may have won the bet.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good reply.
It's okay. But I do like the connection here because it's Calvin Coolidge, who's known for being terse. Hemingway's known for being terse.
Mm-hmm.
He gave the president giving the book to Hemingway in 1929. Hemingway's famous. Coolidge is famous.
Yeah.
Sounds good, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, now here's the kicker. Hemingway has further inscribed the book under the Coolidge inscription. Wow, that makes it even better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's Hemingway's inscription. Yeah. Mr. Hemingway appreciates the signal and unsolicited honor by the former president, but regrets that the first time he has seen this book was in Dr. Guffey's collection. Someone else must have sent the $3. Ernest Hemingway.
Wow. Cool.
So Coolidge did not inscribe it to Hemingway. It was never Hemingway's copy.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think that's really cool because the backstory is even better.
Is it? But it's not Hemingway's copy.
Yeah, it's great.
It is great.
Because you got to tell the rest of the story. Because
I will tell the rest of the story. I'm going to read the heritage description, which, by the way, is word for word the description when this first came to auction in 1958. Here's the description. The appearance of these dual inscriptions is fantastic and best described in the Park Burnett catalog in which it first appeared. Oh, they're quoting the catalog here. The signed inscription by Hemingway ends, someone else must have sent the $3. Hereby hangs a tale famous in the book trade. Three bookmen happened to be scouting a New England town the same day Mr. Coolidge was to make a speech. They immediately bought what they could find of Mr. Coolidge's works, and after the speech, asked him to inscribe the books to them personally. But on the spur of the moment, the first man gave his name as Ernest Hemingway, and the others followed suit, reportedly passing as William Faulkner and Sinclair Lewis. The point of the jest being that Coolidge gave no sign of recognizing the names and wrote them without hesitation or comment. The above piece is not the only evidence that the tale is not apocryphal, but is probably the only one Mr. Hemingway has seen and commented on. An inscription as amusing as it is improbable. That's a wonderful association.
Yeah, that it is.
So that's Coolidge didn't know who he was?
Maybe he did know. Maybe that was Coolidge's sense of humor.
It's good. And I was thinking, how would Hemingway ever see this book? I mean, that's weird, right?
Yeah.
If there's only one of it around. But Dr. Guffey was a huge Hemingway collector. A Hemingway book collector, I should say. Hemingway collected Hemingways. But he kind of did collect Hemingways because he was the doctor. He was the obstetrician who delivered two of Hemingway's children. And they had a long epistolatory relationship.
What a nice guy.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. So Guffey constantly asked Hemingway for books that Hemingway, first editions described to him. And man, oh man, some of them have appeared at auction over the years, and the inscriptions are fantastic.
Right.
In fact, Hemingway has this one letter to Dr. Guffey complaining. He says, think of that damned In Our Time selling for $200 at auction. Like, he's complaining that his books are selling for a lot of money. But then he gives Guffey the manuscript to Death in the Afternoon because he said that manuscripts don't mean anything to him, but he'll give them to friends. And he even says in the letter to Guffey, it doesn't matter to him if friends then sell them.
Wow.
Listen to this. About manuscripts, I either lost them or gave them away as I went along. Have always been completely opposed to selling them, since to the person writing them himself, they are only so much scrap paper once the work is accomplished. But since people began buying them up, have given some to friends who were writers and broke, telling them to sell them if they wanted and keep whatever they would bring. Isn't that cool?
That's very cool.
So when this book that we're talking about, the Coolidge book, sold, it sold with Guffey's whole collection, which was amazing, including the manuscript to Death in the Afternoon.
So this was a throwaway. I actually don't even know if it sold because I looked in the auction records and I just see the estimated price, but I don't see a result.
Exactly. I don't think it sold.
Yeah. $100?
Yeah, $100. But next to the other stuff, like manuscripts,
right.
This looks like nothing. This is just like a chuckle.
A jest.
I think it's cool, though.
Yeah, very cool. In the Park Burnett description, it says, a classic jest.
I don't know if this is classic in terms of has it been repeated elsewhere.
It's funny you should mention that because this seems like a very spontaneous, clever thing for these three, wandering bookmen to pull off. And a little bit of chutzpah.
It did take chutzpah.
A little bit of chutzpah to go up to the, I guess, former president at that point and, just play this little game.
Sign it to Babe Ruth. Anyways.
Right. You know what else is kind of interesting? Sinclair Lewis, major author, but no Fitzgerald.
No, 1929, no Fitzgerald.
His star was in decline, wasn't it?
Well, you're having a sample size of 3 blokes approaching a president on a signature line.
I know, but I mean, you think of the 20s. I'm thinking Faulkner, Hemingway, Fitzgerald. Like they really.
Yeah, but Sinclair Lewis was big time then.
I know he was. That's kind of.
So maybe Fitzgerald would have been the 4th.
I just find it kind of interesting that the third guy, the third in line.
Looking into it much. It's a joke.
I know.
Could be apocryphal.
I don't care. I'm just saying it struck me that if I see 3 authors from the 20s, I want to see Hemingway, Faulkner, and Fitzgerald. And when I see Sinclair Lewis, I think, that doesn't quite belong.
Maybe those wily bookmen were thinking that the Sinclair Lewis is worth more.
Exactly. At the time, I'm sure that that's the case. Right?
Why can't I say the word bookman sincerely?
I don't know. Well, first of all, it's gendered.
It is. That is not comfortable with that word.
No. Okay. So since we're talking about presidents,
well, yeah. What would you think this is worth?
I think it's worth buying. I think it's worth money.
What does that mean?
I think it's a cool thing. I think it's, but who makes this cool? To me, it's the bookman. Hemingway.
We don't know who the bookmen
I know
are.
Like the Coolidge thing is, just whatever, nothing. And the Hemingway thing is a little bit of a, he's kind of humorous, but not particularly, moving. But I think what's cool is the bookmen. They're the stars of this show. We don't know who they are.
That's the story. The people aren't even important. It's the story. Is fun.
The story, yeah. But I'm saying if this bids up to $10,000,
it might.
What are you? Right, it could. What are you buying? Are you buying some witty thing from Hemingway, or some artifact of a prank that 3 bookmen played on a relatively forgettable president?
I would tilt the value strongly to the Hemingway. Hemingway showing wit and appreciation in a way.
If it goes up to $10,000 or $7,000, right?
It's close. It's at the next bid is 4,200 hammer, which is 5,250 total. So, and it's quite a bit of time left.
So it's obviously somebody's going to be buying it for the Hemingway connection, not anything else. But what I am saying is, pranksters behind this whole thing are forgotten bookmen, right? But they made this whole thing interesting. We don't know who they are. That's what I'm saying. Okay. They authored this. They are the true authors of the stunt, right?
Yeah, we'll never know where they are. Just another case of bookmen laboring in obscurity.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, since we're talking about presidents, have you had a chance to look at this sale at Hinman Freeman's? I
know it's an Abraham Lincoln sale.
Yeah.
And I have bookmarked it to look more closely.
Okay. So bookmark your way to lot 114.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa! This is an odd thing to see in a book sale.
Yeah.
What is this?
Well, okay.
I did not see this yet.
Okay, so
catch me off guard.
Well, this is the highest estimated lot in the sale. It's lot number 114. Oh. A pair of stained leather gloves carried by
blood.
I know. Carried by President Abraham Lincoln at Ford's Theater on the night of his assassination.
Blood, isn't it?
Yeah. But they, in the description, it's not clear that it's. Well, they don't make the claim that it's from that event, but maybe.
Well, wait, what do you mean it's not? Did he normally bleed all over his hands, or is that not blood?
I mean,
Tell me.
He probably is. I don't know. The gory part, I'm not that.
No, the blood does. Oh, see, I say that with excitement, like the blood makes it better.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? I'm not comfortable saying that.
Yeah.
But that's my.
No, first of all,
unvarnished thoughts.
Your unvarnished thoughts. The description of this lot is well worth reading, and just anybody who is interested in gloves or the Lincoln assassination should read this description. I really enjoyed it, but I felt myself not knowing what to make of this. First of all, it's in a book sale, but it's described as a relic at some point in the description.
It's a holy relic.
Yeah, and I think like relics. I mean, if you meet somebody and you say, hey, if somebody's like, oh, what do you do? And you say, I work in the rare book business. That
You're
sort
a
of
bookman.
Right. But I mean, if I was thinking about this, if somebody said, hey, so what do you do? And I'm in the relic trade. Like that's a very different feeling, isn't it? Relics.
Oh, it's medieval.
Yeah. Wouldn't you feel weird saying relic? Like relic.
I would. I feel weird right now saying.
I feel weird. Yeah, weird. Okay, first, so let's just move on from that.
What's going on here? They look like driving gloves.
Apparently, Lincoln didn't like wearing gloves, but he was president of the United States.
I didn't know he didn't like wearing gloves.
Yeah, apparently he didn't like wearing gloves, and so he
cold.
Yeah, but high status individuals at the time were expected to wear gloves.
Well, these are indoor gloves. No, they look like indoor gloves.
Though, let me read you this. Though known to have disliked wearing gloves, Lincoln made the concession to social custom at the time for politicians and other high-profile individuals by carrying at least 2 pairs with him at all times.
2 pairs?
2 pairs. Yeah. I should mention that the estimate for this lot is $800,000 to $1.2 million. That's a lot of money for gloves.
That surprises me.
Does it?
Well, when people buy sports memorabilia, they're buying relics. Michael Jordan shoes.
I know.
Aren't they relics?
I guess they're relics, but there's something about this.
They go way higher than books.
And but this is so morbid that the word relic has a different connotation in this context. To me, I don't know.
There's flaking, they say in Inscription.
Yeah. But anyway, so stuff from
what's flaking?
The Ford's Theater, the night of the assassination, has appeared in the market in recent years. In 2022, Heritage sold a key to Lincoln's box.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember it went high.
Yeah, it went for $495,000.
That sounds right. Yeah.
And then also in 2023, RR Auction sold 2 tickets to Ford's Theater, 2 front row tickets from the night of the assassination for $262,500.
I feel like I've seen tickets come up more than once. That would make sense, right? Yeah, obviously. But these are his gloves.
So anyway, they're gloves. They're selling a pair of gloves for $1 million in Chicago.
No, but they look like driving gloves from the 1920s. Even though this is a lot earlier than that.
They look like golf gloves, actually, to me.
Okay, so we're anachronistically making comparisons here.
Mm-hmm.
But at the base of them, there's this stain.
Yeah.
It looks like it's blood to me.
There's an interesting anecdote, though, about how this came into the marketplace. Apparently, Mary Todd Lincoln ran into some financial difficulties. And so these gloves were sold to a collector in 1868, right? And the guy who bought them, this guy, Captain Benjamin Richardson,
mm-hmm.
he had previously purchased George Washington's coach.
Oh, wow. Right, he's a real collector then. If he has those 2 things.
You buy Washington's coach from...
You put on these driving gloves.
Yeah.
And you drive the coach.
You drive the coach, right. You
got presidential history all around you.
Everywhere. But the other thing that comes to mind is that, Lincoln didn't like gloves, apparently, according to the description. And then here we are, we're all kind of gawking at them. And he was,
Why am I fixated on the fact that is this his blood or not?
It's hard not to.
Why do I want it to be his blood?
Oh, you
don't you? Come on, be honest with yourself.
I don't.
I think you're lying.
I am not. I definitely do not want to see. I don't want that to be his blood, but it might be.
Too soon?
Too soon.
No. I think that brings you closer to him. See, that's really poignant to me.
What to me is poignant is the fact that Lincoln didn't like gloves. He didn't like wearing them.
Why you back on this glove thing? Why is that poignant?
Because he didn't want to have them in the first place.
No, I think if he liked gloves, it would be a better story.
No, I think it's a more moving story, the fact that he didn't like gloves, but he had them anyway, bowing to social custom. He might not have wanted to be at the theater, and he ends up getting shot. So, it's a hard road to hoe.
Which is the hard road to hoe?
Being President Lincoln.
Yeah. I feel so bad. He walked around all the time without security or anything because he didn't want to admit. He said, "I have too much faith in the American people." That this wouldn't happen,
and it did.
It's very sad. It's all very, very sad.
Yeah.
I was reading a Manhunt, great book about searching for John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah.
And there's the great story of the night, the assassination at Ford's Theater. And while you're reading it, it's written like a novel in a way. I mean, it's not a novel, but the writing style moves along like that. And I'm getting to the point. I'm thinking, oh, Lincoln's going to get away, right? Right? Like you're hoping.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the heritage sale for a second. What do you make of this Harry Potter lot? A complete set of unbound and folded imposed sheets for the first edition of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Okay, so if I'm reading this correctly, these are sheets.
Current bidding at $50,000.
Okay, so these are large sheets that contain, one sheet contains many pages. Well, how many pages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 pages maybe?
Right.
So one sheet
is a whole chunk of the book.
Yeah, it's like old school bookmaking when you had a huge sheet that then was folded, folio, octavo,
right?
Folio, quarto, octavo.
Yeah.
So these sheets,
yeah, they're about to become the book, but they have to be bound up, and like,
so presumably,
yeah,
there were these sheets for every copy that was eventually bound. So there's no precedence to this vis-a-vis the book.
No,
it's just sheets that weren't bound.
Yeah, no, I was trying to think of what to compare this to. I mean, you don't get this with modern first edition.
That is odd, isn't it?
No, I mean, yeah, I have never seen anything like this for a modern book.
But are these leftovers?
Well, in the auction description, it says acquired by the present owner from a private collector who obtained these sheets directly from a manager at the printers, Clays Limited. So somebody had the presence of mind, a private collector had the presence of mind to snap this up.
I wonder when they were snapped up.
I don't know.
Like after the book was famous and the printer's going through his old files because maybe he had extras of sheets of things? It's really interesting. It's interesting.
Very interesting. The bidding is at $50,000, and I keep asking myself, what is that going to go for?
I have no idea.
Right. I don't either. But I have this number in my head.
Wait, I'm trying to think if I'd rather have this than a pristine first edition. There's a question. Would you rather have this than a pristine first edition?
I'd rather have this.
One of the 500 copies, hardbound copies.
The pristine first edition made its way into the world and then became part of the Harry Potter revolution, right? But this was never issued, not even bound up.
No, so what's the story behind here? In my mind, it's either exciting because you're seeing how the book is made, which it is exciting.
Yes.
But it could be just a leftover remnants on a printer shelf of a forgotten.
So this is kind of an artifact in a way that the first edition,
relic,
right? If you had a Harry Potter exhibition somewhere,
I'd want both.
Of course, you want both.
That's what I want. I want both.
Okay, but if you had a Harry Potter exhibition somewhere, and you were able to get this in to the exhibition, that would transform the exhibition, right? Because especially if I went there having seen and handled Harry Potter first editions, you'd be like, "Oh, this is nice. This isn't as great." But then if you saw this for the first time, that would be exciting, right? So this, to me, adds value that a mint first edition does not have.
I agree. I can't get out of my head the thought, like if you were doing that exhibition, you would show this before the first edition. Yeah. So in your mind, you're like, hey, this comes first. Because it does in the progression of text to book.
Right.
But it doesn't mean the sheets in the book were printed later.
No. I mean, and this has the issue points.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's the same text as the first issues.
This just didn't get bound up. That's what I mean. That I think is the most.
It just didn't get bound up. Poor forgotten sheets.
Yeah.
Never were loved and read.
Yeah.
Sad.
That's
not sad. It's not sad. It's cool. Either or. You could have this or one of the 500 copies, nice copy of a first edition, but not both. What are you having?
I think I would want this. And I'll tell you why. You can never get if you choose this, you can never get the fine copy of Harry Potter. Right now, you've crossed the threshold. You've made your decision.
No, you can never get it. Yeah, if you can get both, it's not a game.
I would want this anyway because I haven't seen anything like this for any other book, like notable book.
So you're saying it's not even a Harry Potter item anymore?
Well, no, it's definitely a Harry Potter item, but I'd want to have this because it would just be such a cool thing to have.
Why haven't we seen other books? This is 1997. There should be other sheets like this.
Yeah.
Unless they were thrown away. Maybe, I don't know. I'm very curious what the market says about this.
I am too. I want you. I'm going to force you. So now, which would you
want? I'd want one of the 500.
Why?
Because the cover, That's how people saw it for the first time. And my image of Harry Potter is so tied up to that first edition cover. And that's how it appeared in the world. Whereas I feel like this, I can't get out of my head that it could be like a leftover.
Maybe it's a leftover, but it's fresh. And I
microwaves well?
I promise you, if you were handling this.
Yeah, I would say this is so cool.
Exactly. There would be a sense of awe. Whereas if you're handling a first edition of Harry Potter, a fine copy, that's great. That's a really cool thing. But I think with this, there would be a fascination of like, how did this survive? How am I looking at this?
You know what? I'm looking at the picture of stacked up like that.
Yeah.
That looks so cool.
I want this for sure. So that now raises the question.
Jeez,
I don't think I'm the only one in the world.
It just feels like it precedes the book because it does in terms of how the book is made.
Yeah.
So I'm not calling it a leftover at all.
Okay.
That is unfair.
I mean, look at how cool it looks.
It looks really cool. Unbound state. That's cool. Now, see, you talked to me another 5 minutes. I may flip.
No. Okay. So
flip flopper.
What will this sell for?
I think the person buying this has the first edition already. So the either or is not a question.
Yeah. Is this? I mean, it's not selling for $50,000. I'll tell you that.
No, it's not. I hadn't thought this through.
I have this number in my head, man. I'm like, I don't even know.
275.
I'm saying 350. That's my number. It's like, this is going to sell for 350.
All right, well, 275 hammer is kind of 350, isn't it? Actually, over under 300 all in hammer. That would be a good guess. Ooh, that's right where I think
it's going over.
Maybe you're right.
I mean,
I'm a confused person. It looks so. The more pictures I look, the more excited I get about it.
I think this is the kind of thing.
You're right. If I held this in person, is this in New York? Can I see this?
This is the kind of thing that
I want to see this.
Once you get this in your hands and you'll flip. That's what this is.
Yeah, you're right.
You get this in this becomes part of your collection. You will never tire of
100%. I'm not getting the first edition. I'm getting this.
Right.
You're persuasive.
Yeah. I think I just sold it to you.
You just sold it to me. You sold it to me in this theory world.
No, can you imagine taking this out? No pomp and circumstance, no prelude. You just take this out and show it to somebody. Somebody
bring it to a cafe, start reading it.
No, not any. No, somebody in the world of books.
Yeah, forget it. It's awesome. It's going to bring a lot.
Yeah, you've got this in your back closet. Take it out, put it on the table. Whoever sees it just lose their mind.
That involved a lot of brain work to think this through.
I have been thinking about. What's throwing me off is this $50,000, and it really kind of illustrates how much auction estimates impact your perception, or can. I think there's going to be a lot of people just staring at this thing thinking like, really? 50,000? Like I might get this for 70?
What is it? I got to tell you, it's the pictures that just won me over. It just looks awesome.
Yeah.
It looks pure.
It looks pure. But it's not, doesn't precede anything. It doesn't precede the first edition. That is a kind of an interesting.
Yeah, but you know what? That's more of an imaginative, I don't know, it just looks cool. I still want both.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's really cool. And I think it's going to be 350. Somehow I just feel like that's it.
If you're right, I will
buy me lunch.
Tell you that you're right.
Yeah.
But you might be right.
I might. But most likely I'm wrong. I mean, there's a lot of numbers out there that are not 350.
It's true. It's true.
So, and we're both on the over under for 300. Are you over or are you under? Or you're at 300?
No, I picked 300 because that's right. Are we talking hammer or all in?
All in. The hammer thing is nonsense.
Just for fun, I'm going under.
How much is somebody paying for this?
But it's going to be close.
It's going to be close?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I'm wrong.
Now, Heritage, I think I saw something.
I got to go over too.
You got to go over. It's going to be.
I got to go over. I say that I'm going to be under, and I'm going to lose. That's a bet I would lose. I'm not making that bet.
It's going to be over. Look at that.
It's over. It's over. We did it. Now we have to wait and see what happens. All right, we're not done with that Lincoln Hinman sale.
Oh my God, I hope not. There's so much amazing stuff in there. The gloves kind of jumped out because I was thinking, what are these gloves? What are gloves doing in a book sale? And obviously it's not a book sale. It's a Lincoln sale. But yeah.
That's a book sale.
Well, other stuff too. Pamphlets.
Yeah, no, manuscript sale, whatever.
Yeah.
But there's also a manuscript that they're calling the Bass Ackwards
I saw that.
manuscript.
Yeah.
And we have to talk about that.
Yeah.
I got to look at that a little more. But that's for another day.
But the yeah. So what are the Lincoln gloves going to sell for?
I don't know. I'm not in the relic business.
Yeah, that's a tough one.